Hello, welcome to Lemon Studios, where we talk anything and everything entertainment. I'm, of course, the Lemon himself, Zeke Lemon, and this is my review for Marvel Studios' Ironheart episodes 4, 5, and 6. But before we get into that, let's get the house clean out of the way, shall we? I'm just leave a like, comment below, let me know your thoughts on Ironheart, and of course, hit that subscribe button as it helps me grow into my YouTube career. I would greatly appreciate it. Now, all that out of the way, let's get into the review, shall we? So, Ironheart's officially over after 2 weeks, which I am just never going to fully understand. I really do think this show could have really benefited from a week to week, especially from 5 to 6. Episode 5 to me was probably the strongest out of the 3 that came out. 4 had a little bit had a little bit of a tempo issue to me. Well, not a tempo issue. It was just a tale of two halves. I thought the first half was a little bit slow and a little bit dragging, and then it picked up in the second. Episode 5 to me, for the most part, was firing on all cylinders, because I believe that's the episode. Well, we have the battle at White Castle, and then she's dealing with the whole panic attacks and all that fun jazz. And then episode 6 is about building the suit and getting it all final. Well, the suit is finalized and all that. And then we lose Natalie, and then, you know, everything that happens that where most people are going to want to talk about in this review. But before we get to the big things, let's talk about the things I had a little bit of issues with, because mainly it's the stuff that carries over from the first set to the second set. Now, there is a lot to be desired with these problems that I have, because it's very clear that, well, the showrunners are hoping to get a season 2 out of it, because the Hood's crew gets dismissed in this show quite abruptly, if I may add, and just unceremoniously. Now, I was not expecting the Hood to necessarily kill them by any means, but one, it was just a flip-floppiness. Again, they're more caricatures as they are characters. I felt like they were just there for jokes for the most part. Then when it was time for them to actually have development, because the Hood's sending them to kill Riri, and then, you know, they find out, or one of them finds out that Rampage died because of the Hood, and then they went like, that's not us, that's not what we do. And I'm just like, you were like willing like to just kill Riri, no questions asked. Now you want to have debates about your ethics and your code within this crew and everything. That those things really kind of bug me within it. And then like how they just go and then they were never to be seen again. But again, I expect in season 2 this story is going to continue. And if we already get a season 2, which again it's going to be it's a tall ask, because, you know, we are in this. We only had 2 weeks for this to get going. And with the juggernaut that is July of things that are just coming out, it's going to be keep moving and moving. It's going to be hard to keep this relatively relevant and not just be left in the past, moving on. But, you know, hopefully, you know, Marvel understands that, and, you know, next season we can do week to week. Because, yeah, I would like to strip down, because the talent who are playing the henchmen, if you will, of the Hood's group, they're very talented. They're really good. I liked everything we did in White Castle quite a bit. Besides, you know, with the twins, I don't like how Riri was able to keep a fight for that long. I feel like she probably should just got her ass kicked until she did get her hands on some tech. But everything else I really liked. I liked the conversation between her and the other tech girl who got beat up by the Hood's cousin. I liked that dialogue as she was throwing grenades. That was a lot of fun. Liked everything we did with Ezekiel as well. At first I wasn't, but now I'm on board with it, because again, I'm hoping for a season 2 where we can just strip him down even more, or the whole Obadiah pendulum, if you will, because he was so far against it, now he was so far up it, and now it looks like we're starting to slow down a little bit. Maybe he's going to find somewhere in the middle. It'll be nice to see that progression continue within it. I also, things I wasn't a hugest fan of in this second Brock is this the dramaticism of the arguments when there is conflict. You know, the junkyard scene, I believe, was it episode 4 or was it episode 5? It was episode 4 towards the end, where, you know, Natalie goes and gets her brother, and, you know, there's that whole conversation, you know, with Natalie being seen, where again, like, Riri's obviously having a hard time. It wasn't her who went to go get it. I just felt like with how that character was set up, like, he wouldn't just immediately just exploded on her. And then, of course, that big conflict and that big argument where it just goes from 0 to 10, basically. Where, again, I just would have liked to see that too, you know, try to understand, and like he just can't shake it off. And then, you know, then the argument happens. The stuff with the mom too kind of comes from out of nowhere because like the mom was just kind of ignoring her, and then all of a sudden she's like, "Why don't you ever come to me?" It's just, I don't know, those things. I just felt like with a little bit more time we could have really dug into a little bit better. So those things kind of bug me. But besides, and also with the Hood as well, it's mainly because you have a talent like Anthony Ramos, and he is a fantastic talent to have. And he just wasn't really given a whole lot. We did dig into him a little bit more. I understand the character a little bit better. I like the reveal of it. Was it episode 5 or was it episode 6? Where it turns out, the companies that he's targeting, all companies that his dad owns because his dad kicked him out while he was 12. And that conversation, when he does break in and he takes over the house and he's like, look, I just didn't want you. And I just thought it was the best business practice, like just treating him like a transaction. It was just really wild to see. Well, I'm just like, you know what? I do have sympathy for the Hood. And again, we just need to continue to explore that if we are to get a season 2, where again, the pendulum. Well, right now he's fully bad, but now the Hood's gone. So now we're going to start to see the goodness of what he is. Now, as for the things that I like this dynamic, this new friend that we've made with Riri, who is a witch. With blurring that lines between magic and electronics. I really, really liked everything that we did there and the conversations that they would be having with each other. I think they blend very well. I think the final fight was also really good. The choice to lose Natalie was very strong and very bold, and of course with what we did at the end, and this is where we'll spend most of the review here, that we finally got Mephisto, and he is officially confirmed, is played by Sacha Baron Cohen. I had my theories because I know of the Hood. Like, I know the Hood comes from hell, pretty much, and is a gift from Mephisto for the most part, more or less. And when he comes up with that Hood, and he sneaks them into that pizza joint, and they're having the conversation, I'm like, he's him. And then once he goes, what is it you desire? I was like, oh my God, it's him. And then later on, as they are going, and then when he's in the clubhouse, and then he comes up and he starts speaking in a different accent, I was like, oh my God, he's him. Having the conversation with Riri, and then he goes, let me introduce myself. I am kind of curious to see what his beef with Dormammu is, because, man, he hates him. He goes, let me introduce myself. My name is Mephisto. And he was like, what does that have to do with me? But, the music is all playing. It's super epic. Loved everything that we did with him. And, of course, to make the choice that Riri does sell her soul so she can get Natalie back. And it's not just the hologram Natalie. It's actually Natalie, because they can touch, they can hug. You see the scar come up. I really, really liked what we did towards the end. I'm actually getting chills thinking about it. I think it was so well executed, and it makes so much sense. It's a very person thing to do. Anyone who's in that position, it would really be hard for someone to go, what is it that you desire? And to go, I want the love of my life back. I want my best friend back. And they say, I can give you that. Obviously, the right choice is to say no. But anyone in that position, even I can admit, if I'm in that position, I would have a hard time saying no. And I would be asking all the confirmation like Riri was too. It's like, this is only on me, right? No one else is going to get involved. This is just me. Yep, that's it. You want the deal or not? Man, it would be very, very hard for me to not shake that hand if I'm in that position. And again, I think that goes for a lot of people. If you're ever in that kind of position where you can get everything that you ever desired, it's really, really hard. Even the best of people would struggle with that decision, and they would be thinking about it a lot after it is done. Overall, I really did like the show. I had a really good time with it. There are some shortcomings within it, but that's the typical things when it comes to a Marvel show, such as the relationship between the mom and Riri. Again, hopefully that could be explored a little bit more in the season 2. The Hood's group, again, hopefully can be explored more in season 2. Everything we did with Ezekiel, I really like the pendulum thing that we're doing with him. But again, with just how everything that had to get done in this season, it really did seem like they were trying to set the table with this season, because I can go on and on and on with the characters that we have, where I just want to dive in a little bit more deeper. Hopefully we do get this season 2. I like the world that we built with around Riri. Hopefully stays within television. I don't necessarily need to see her in the movies again. But yeah, I had a good time with the show. Is this going to be one that I'm going to be racing to rewatch again? Probably not, but if it comes on again, I definitely would watch. Like, if this was during, normal television time, and I was flipping through the channels and I was on the guide and I saw Ironheart was on, even though I've already seen the show, I would click play. I would click on that channel and watch for a little bit, and then maybe I'll finish that episode and then I'll move on to my other thing. In this streaming era now, where you have to choose and you have to want to rewatch the show again, it's not just about clicking through the channels just to see what is on. You are willingly choosing to choose to watch this again. Yeah, it might take me a little bit before I get back to it. There are some other shows that I would rather watch, but this was still a fun time nonetheless. I had a really good time while watching it. And again, that reveal, we finally got a character that we've been wanting since 2021, ever since WandaVision, ever since the Disney Plus era began. We'll finally get this character that we've been wanting to see. And boy, did it live up to the billing. Hopefully we get to see more of him in the future. But let me know down in the comment section what you think of Ironheart. Leave a like if you made it this far within a review. I do greatly appreciate it. And of course, hit that subscribe button as I am trying to grow into my YouTube career. And until next time, guys, I'll see you here at Lemon Studios.